Hey, what's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the Stretch It Out podcast.
Snap. I don't know if you can hear my snap.
Kind of heard you. Kind of.
They're kind of like clammy. I got clammy hands right now. I didn't want to clap because I didn't want to peek, so I figured I'd snap. Snap, snap.
Oh, you snapped? I didn't hear the snaps.
Oh, you didn't hear? Let's see. Ready? Ready? Everybody quiet? Quiet? Turn your radio all the way up. Volume. Ready? Here we go. Did you hear it?
Kind of. Wasn't.
I was like close to the mic.
Yeah, it's the clamminess, I think.
I got clammy hands, guys. Clammy hands.
So, what's happening? Welcome back. Welcome back to all of our listeners. Welcome back to Stretch It Out Podcast. My name is Nick Stretch. This is my baby sister, Audrey.
The little one. I am the little one.
That's right. Little sis is reserved for my little sister, Alyssa. Love you, Alyssa.
You should call her like big sister because she's a big sister to me.
Well, yeah, to you that makes more sense, but to me that would make no sense.
So you're gonna call her little sis, and I'll just call her big sis. So
that's right.
Alyssa's got two names.
That's just how it works. So what's been going on, Audrey? What's new? It's Friday. Hallelujah.
Friday. Whoop whoop.
What's been happening? Give us an update. What's going on in Audrey's world?
Well, in Audrey's world, she's still jobless, but we're not going to focus on that, okay, guys? I've actually started to do some classes since I'm not working, not really doing anything. I'd figured I would take some classes on coding for fun. Why not?
Nice.
You know, and maybe after all this chaos, I can find a job in coding. Why not, right?
It could happen.
Sky's the limit.
It could happen. Whose phone is that?
Yeah, that's what I was saying, Nick.
It's not mine.
That's not your ringtone?
No, it's not. You know what I think it is? I think it's Courtney's phone. I can't tell because I can hear it through the headphones, but it's probably in the room. So
she's probably like on her Apple Watch, like dinging, like, where's my phone at?
Yeah, she's probably like, where's my phone?
It's going to keep going off throughout the...
Yeah, well, if it rings again, I'll just answer it and be like, hey, and we'll listen in on the combo, see who it is. Right? We could do that. It'd be fun.
Kind of fun, actually.
Yeah, so whoever was calling Courtney, I'm sorry.
She's not ignoring your call. It's just that it's in the room.
I do apologize.
So what's new with you? You're excited it's Friday?
Oh, yeah, I'm always excited about Friday. Let's see, what's new with me? Oh, I'm excited about hanging out with a good friend of mine tomorrow and his wife. You remember Tom and Alicia? I think you met them when you were out here, Tom and Dawn.
When I was out there, or was it when?
I think it was when you were out here. I don't know. I thought you got to meet them when you were out here, but it's a long time ago, so hard to tell. Or maybe no, wasn't in Vegas. But no, I'm really looking forward to hanging out with Tom and his wife tomorrow. So pumped about that because Tom I don't get to see as often as I'd like to, but. And speaking of Don, man, I haven't talked to that guy in a while. I'm going to have to send him a text or something. Miss that guy too. But yeah, I know the kids they love Tom and Don. And so we're going to go hang out. They're going to come to the house or whatever. We're going to hang out. And I think we're going to try to grab like a lunch or something together. So that'll be fun. That's one of the highlights. And then the other is I'm supposed to go hang out with Giacomo on Sunday, and I think the plan is we're going to hop in the Jeep and go do Jeep stuff in a Jeep, right? Well, I'm going to, but what's great about it is he's got a crawler. He has a Traxxas crawler. It's an RC. That's an RC car. So for those people that don't, I don't understand or appreciate RC, but no, it's a crawler. It's a lot of fun. And he brought it over to the house. I'm going to charge his batteries and get all that ready. And then I've got the GoPro, I've got my Nikon, and I'm going to load all that up. And we're going to do, get some footage of the crawler out there, obviously get some footage of the Jeep, and then just kind of I don't know, footage of the day, and I'm going to put up another video on the YouTube channel. So it'll be fun. So I've got a really awesome weekend planned out. Not to mention, every weekend I get to hang out with my family here, my MFB family, right? So
Love the MFB crew.
yeah, I'm so blessed that I get to live here and I get to see these guys and girls every weekend. Even during the week, we're hanging out playing Xbox all the time. We've been playing Call of Duty together, and Daniel. Remember when Daniel was on the podcast? He's come out and visited a few times, and he's like the first. I think the time that like he really got to know everybody was when he came during Harvey, because he was stuck here. and yeah, that was crazy, because like he knew Harvey was coming and he was like, I don't care, I'm coming out there anywhere. Like that's a true homie right there. So Daniel, freaking love you, man. But he we started playing Xbox together, and Daniel is like on the group text message. Daniel's on the group text message with MFB, right? Like with Matthew and James and Chris and Giacomo. Yeah. So that's how like part of the family he is now. It's so cool. And so yeah.
Daniel, when are you going to get your house on MFB?
I know. Yeah. Hey, you know how he is. Daniel don't like to talk about it. He likes to be about it. So, but no, it's been fun hanging out with them, because we've been hanging out a lot on Xbox, playing video games together. And man, I am trash at that game, Audrey. Trash. I have a couple good games here and there where I get lucky, and there's a couple people that are just not as good as I am, so they bought the game yesterday. But usually I'm getting destroyed. I'm getting worked in. But honestly, I love it because I'm hanging out with the guys. It's cool because I can literally just put my headset on, kind of like we're doing right now. I put my headset on, and I am physically sitting here in my bedroom, right, with a headset on, talking to you through a microphone, but I feel like I'm right here hanging out with you, right? And our listeners.
Like a virtual
It's the same thing on Xbox, right? It's the same thing, hanging out with my friends. Except we're shooting bad guys, right? So, and we're, talking to other people as we kind of, join different teams and stuff. So it's a lot of fun. All that to say, I'm super, super blessed to have what I have here, at MFB. Even if I wasn't doing all the cool, fun stuff I was telling you about this weekend, it would still be the best weekend ever because of my MFB family. So yeah, that's just how it is. And speaking of my MFB family, this is really cool. So I should put a picture of it or something, but I had a birthday recently, and my MFB family made me feel like $1 million. Everybody made me feel like $1 million. And thank you guys, all of you, for this, just everything, just being awesome and making me feel special. But it was really cool. I got, a lot of it was fun. We went to had dinner and hung out. Just being with my friends was more than enough for me. But I got a really special gift from, Chris and Emily's daughter, Harper.
Mm-hmm. Cutest,
sweetest thing. Oh my gosh. She got me the coolest gift. I've got it sitting on my desk in between my two monitors. So I literally look at it like all day because it's so cool. And I'm very into, RC. And one of the things that I love about RC is just the scale look. And this is like kind of like a model car, like toy car. But it is cool. I'll send you a picture. You're like, okay, that's actually pretty cool. It's pretty badass. But the fact that she was like, yeah, like that's what I'm going to get for Nick. It was just so cool. Cause to me, I was just like, man, she gets me, right? She knows. And it was just such a special gift. Super touching. So anyways, it was awesome. So I got that sitting right here on my desk, and since I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably mention that because it's been here all week. And it's just a nice little reminder for me when I'm working and I'm getting stressed out. A lot of times I start to feel like I'm just, we all get that way where we start to feel inadequate. We don't feel like we're enough. We don't feel like, we're doing enough. And I get that way sometimes when I'm working. I get overwhelmed. I get, kind of stressed out. And I don't get like that all the time, but sometimes I get that way, right? And sometimes you just get distracted with things and you need to have your perspective corrected, if you will. And that helps me because it reminds me that, you know what? I am important to some people here, right? And I am enough to my family and to my friends. And that gift, that simple gift from Harper, sits on my desk and is a reminder for me now. So thank you, Harper. I don't know if she listens to the podcast, but maybe one day she will, and she'll be like, "Oh, that's awesome."
We're gonna name this Harper's episode so that
she
wants to go to this episode.
She knows I love her and her big brother Colson. So, but no, it was an awesome weekend, and I had to just make mention of that. It's like my like weird sorry attempt at trying to make it all about me. So sorry about that.
But it wasn't.
But that's what's going on.
Harper.
Yeah. True. So let's get back to me then. If you guys could see, we need to do this video thing. I was looking at it again, and we're like 18,000 in line to make this thing happen on Zencastr, but we need to do this because if you could see me moving my hand, because I'm very handsy when I talk, right? Yeah. And if you don't know me and you're just listening to the podcast, you might, who knows what I'm doing, like in your head, like maybe I'm sitting there like leaned back. I'm not.
I always want everyone to see me because, like, whenever the music comes on, it's like I'm straight faced, and then once that music comes on, when you're like, okay, ready, here we go.
Right.
It's like I bob my head and do a little dance, and I'm like, I swear, if people were to see what I was actually doing right now,
it's so cool. That is awesome.
My voice doesn't project what like my body's actually doing.
That's awesome, though. So. You know the entrance tunnels to Disneyland. Did I tell you about that before?
What?
How the song, the song, our intro song to the podcast is kind of cheesy, but the intro to anything, right? Whatever it is, the intro, that's like the entrance tunnels to Disneyland to me.
I see what you're saying. It's like pumping you. It's taking you from one world into the next.
Exactly. It's like that transitional place. Like you're just like, okay, the music starts and then, okay, and now I'm in Podcastland, right? It's like poof. And whatever that is for you, you're there. You're in that land. That's what RC is for me, right? RC cars is the same thing for me. And that's why I watch so much of it on YouTube and listen to podcasts.
Did we get Keenan to ask you to be on his podcast for RC?
No, because I'm not... So Keenan, where he's at, and shout out to Keenan, because he's such a good man, and he deserves that, all the shout outs he gets because he's just a good human. He's out there in the battle of good versus evil. He's good, and he's fighting the good fight. And Sean Russo, man, that guy.
Oh, he's always hyping us up.
Sean, shout out to you, brother. Thank you for listening, and just thank you again. The same thing for just being a good human being, man. Really, it's huge. So, but yeah, like Keenan's podcast is like next level, right? So, like when
his podcast is the goal,
right? Because it's super educational. I learned so much every time I listen to it, and they what they're talking about, they know like inside and out, right? It's, RC racing, and it's a whole scene. And that's why you see me sharing the RCGP on my Facebook and stuff all the time, because to me, that's probably, in my opinion, one of the best depictions of what RC is and what it, and actually even better, it's the best, I think it's the best depiction of what it can be, if that makes sense. Because it is a real thing for a lot of people, but it's not for most people can't connect to it because it hasn't been on the right stage for them yet. RCGP is doing that. Anyways, I'm turning it into an RC podcast, but my point is I can't go on a podcast like that because even though I love RC and I'm obsessed with it, I'm of no benefit to anybody in the RC world outside of my own, my own friends, right? My own friends and like my family, and that's why, and I know that, what I do with my little YouTube channel with the Ricky RC thing, that's why I did it. It was just to help try to grow the community in my area. I think it was Martin Luther King Jr. that said, I can't do great things, but I can do small things in a great way. And that's me. That's me, right? That's the definition, I think, of what I'm trying to do with my life and how, the things that bring me joy. I'm doing what I can in my community and with my friends and with my family. And I feel like I've been rather successful. If you look at my track record, everybody that in my MFB crew is involved in RC in some capacity. That's a freaking win, right? Chalk that one up as a win for me.
Have I ever told you The Starfish Story?
I don't think you have, and I'm intrigued. You've already sparked my interest, so let's do this. We're in podcast
I feel like I have talked about it. If I have said this on a previous episode, I feel like I may have. But it's the Starfish Story. I heard it from a really good
I'll
friend.
tell you if it starts to remind me, if I start to remember it as you're telling it.
So it's a short story, and what it is there's a big storm that came in. So the tide came up, but when the tide came up, it pushed all these starfish up on the beach. And once the tide went back, all the starfish were stranded. So, and there's like thousands of starfishes on the beach. So there's one guy who's walking on the beach, and he picks up a starfish, looks at it, and he throws it back into the water. So he's walking down the beach, and he's just picking them up and throwing them back in. So another guy comes up. He sees him doing this for about 20 minutes, and he goes up to him, and he's like, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, well, the storm pushed all these starfish onto the shore, so, I'm picking them up and throwing them back in." And he goes, the other gentleman says, "Why are you doing that? It's not going to make a difference. There's thousands of starfish stranded on the beach. They're all going to die." And as he's saying that, the guy reaches back down, grabs a starfish, looks at the man and says, "Yeah, but it's going to make a difference to this starfish." And he throws it back into the water.
Amen.
And continues to go along the beach and do as much as he can.
That is a cool story. Where did you hear that?
I heard that from Roxanne. Roxanne is like the story queen. She has so many great stories that honestly, there's two of them that have touched me the most, and it's that starfish one, because I've always felt, even before her, she put that story, put it into words of what I always felt, that even though I wasn't making everybody smile all the time, it was, as long as I can make one person happy throughout my day, or make one person genuinely smile or laugh, then it's like, okay, then I did my part for the day. I've always just had that feeling, and it's always like an everyday goal of mine, is like, make somebody smile, because you don't know what they're going through. And then there's another story, which maybe I'll save the other one for another time, but it's the parachute story, which is, that one is very...
Why would you save it for another time? This seems like it's relevant if it's coming to mind. I mean, the starfish story, I don't know about y'all, but I'd love to hear from our listeners, because that was awesome. Like, that got me, and I've never heard it. So maybe I'm like way behind the 8 ball here, but regardless, I don't care. It's just like that really like,
right? Like, doesn't it strike home?
It makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah. It's like,
it's so true. Especially everything that's going on in the world today, where it's like, oh,
that's the whole depth over reach thing, I feel like,
Well, okay, so I'll tell the parachute one. Hopefully I don't butcher this too bad. Roxanne, if you're listening, I'm sorry. You can come on.
The other one, just so you know, don't sell yourself short. I think all of our listeners would agree when I say you nailed it on the other one. You knocked it out of the park. It was like you've told the story multiple times. Like, you rehearsed it before you did the me, 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 me. I mean, even your voice sounded smoother when you told the story. You did a great job, I'm just saying.
Okay, maybe. Roxanne will tell a story and bring tears to your eyes, and you're like, "Oh my God, that hit home."
I love that. It doesn't take a lot to bring tears to my eyes. So, I mean, I've had rough tequila do that. So continue. Sorry.
Jose Cuervo. So the parachute story is, okay, let me see if I can remember it. Let me run through my head really fast.
She did the little throat clip.
Guys, I did work out at the gym right before recording, so I'm a little...
Kudos to you on the workout. I did not work out today.
The day's not over. It's still young.
Yeah, but see how I said I did not? That means that's done. I've moved it off of my... It's already young. It's past. Yeah, I appreciate you trying to bring it back to life, Audrey, but it's Friday. I'm in Podcastland.
Nick's got a White Claw in his hand.
It ain't happening. I am drinking a White Claw, and I know that's... Let's get back to the parachute story, because now we're just opened up a whole new... People are tuning out. See, if we were live right now, I'd be able to see people leaving. Just they're like, Nick's not going to let Audrey talk. She's not going to let Audrey tell the story. We want to hear the parachute story, so I apologize. Let's take it back to Audrey. Audrey?
Okay, so the parachute story. There is an airman. He was he was an airborne infantryman. He went to war multiple times, and he completed numerous amount of jumps, right? So he's out to dinner one night with his wife, and as they're walking into the restaurant, a man comes up to him, and he's like, I'm going to use the name John Wick, guys. He comes up and he's
John Wick works.
John Wick. He comes up, starts shaking his hand. He's like, "Oh my God, Mr. Wick." He was like, it's such an honor to meet you. I have followed you. You've done 237 jumps in your lifetime. And he was like, and all of them have been successful. He's like, man, it's just an honor to meet you. And so the guy's like, oh, John says, okay, thank you so much. Like, that's great to hear. So he goes in the restaurant. His wife looks at him and says, "Who was that?" And he's like, I have no idea who that man is." And she's like, "Well, he knows you." And he goes, "Well, let's go ahead and just go to dinner." So they get seated. They're having their dinner, and the other gentleman was leaving the restaurant. He comes up to him again. And he goes, "I'm so sorry to bother you." He's like, "Can I please get your autograph?" And he's like, "I've followed you on every single one of your jumps, and it's just an honor to finally actually meet you." And
this is a different guy or the same guy?
Different guy, not
Okay.
John. It's like a fan of John coming up. And John finally, he's signing a piece of paper for the guy, for the fan, and says, "I'm really sorry, but where do I know you from? How do you know so much about me?" And he looks at him and he goes, "Oh, well, Mr. Wick," he's like, "I'm the one who packed your parachute for all the 237 jumps that you ever did."
Oh.
Right? So the moral of the story is like, who's packing your parachute every day?
Thank God that guy was, because he really cared, right? He was like, wow, I really care about this dude, but he was insignificant enough to him that he couldn't remember. I'm that way. I'm very much like John Wick in the story, and not intentionally, but I'm forgetful of things like that too, and I feel terrible.
But that's the point of the story. It's not that you're doing it personally, because people in the military, if anybody in the military is listening, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't know who's like packing your parachute. It's not like, right. Oh, hey, I'm the jumper, you're my packer, we're best friends, we know each other, but it's like, who's always rooting you on in the background that maybe you never ever taken the opportunity to kind of dig a little bit deeper, like, okay, well, who's rooting for me that I don't even know about?
Right. Like there's so much significance hiding underneath what is seemingly insignificant almost all the time in life. It's crazy.
So, and to me, that kind of hits home. For one, in the workplace was a very big one, because it's like, who surrounds you that wants to see you succeed in the workplace, who's always, there to encourage you or give you advice. But also too, it's like, we live in a very social media world, and I know there's a lot of people like influencers and things like that, but to me, in their eyes, it's like, okay, well, look at the people who are boosting you up. Like that's who's packing your parachute.
Amen. And we're so fortunate, Audrey, that we have those people in our lives, and that that is that's what I want to be for the people in my life. I want to be that for you. I want to be that for Alyssa. I want to be that for Dad. That's what I want to be. I think I want to be everybody's biggest cheerleader. I want to be the one rooting everybody on.
And I think you are. I think you cheer a lot of people on. I think you encourage more people than you
realize. No, and I appreciate that. And I'm not fishing for compliment. I promise. What I'm saying is I want to be that for everybody, but I can tell you that I feel like I get that and then some from all of my friends, from all my family, especially from my wife and my kids. They're like my biggest fans. They're always rooting for me. I don't deserve any of it, really. I don't feel like I do, right? And I don't say that because I'm trying to be self-deprecating. I mean, I'm just kind of feeling like, well, like who really deserves that, But I hope that I can be that for the people that are in my world, my sphere of influence, if you will. So yeah, that's a cool story. You got two really good stories. We're going to have to create a segment on Audrey's. Yeah. Audrey's it can't just be story time, because it's so much more than that, but you know what? I'm good with that. Story time works, but that was great. I'm feeling I'm just feeling enlightened right now,
They're good stories, huh? I think I got Roxanne on video one time talking about the parachute story.
She's gonna have to come on the podcast and.
She's a busy woman these days. She just got promoted with Smile Direct Club, so kudos to her.
Hey, congratulations, Roxanne. Roxanne!
And her daughter just got married. Brittany just got married, so congratulations to them.
Congrats, Brittany.
They had a COVID wedding.
Hey, but you got married, and it'll be a memorable one, that's for sure. So, but no, we do got to get her on eventually. So keep that. I was thinking about like, man, how do we? I went on YouTube and I'm like, how do you like professionally like interview people on a podcast, right? And again, I go back to Keenan, Lefty the Great, who is, I mean, we've become really good friends, but all that aside, he's a really good host, and he knows how to, he knows how to interview people, and he has really great questions and stuff. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, I wonder if I would want to go to that place and like do that. I just wouldn't, right? Like I don't, I would like it to be more natural. And for me, right? Like he's really good at what he does. I don't have that, I think, skill. And I was looking at Instagram the other day, and there was this ad that popped up for it's like a deck of cards, right? But they're questions that you would ask if you were interviewing somebody on a podcast. I was like, that's perfect for me because I don't have to think. You know what I mean? I just hold this little deck of cards. I didn't look at how much it costs or anything, but my whole point in saying that was that's all I need is something like that. I can just pull some, just random questions. But then it would be great to have. I always am trying to look for questions that are relevant too, right? Because if I know you and I follow you, right, then I'm going to have some different questions. But again, I want all that to be kind of organic and natural. I don't ever want to feel like I've got to go dive in and,
like you
figure out all the time. Yeah.
I don't want to sound like a news reporter.
Yeah.
It's 7 p.m. We have.
Right. And I probably would if I was trying to do that. But anyways, I thought that was cool. I was thinking about that when you're like, yeah, let's get Roxanne on. But yeah, it would be great to get her on sometime. I know Keenan said he was down to get on again. So I think once we get that video thing, it's going to be like next level. I can't wait to get the video up. Because I feel like we're going to connect in a totally different way. Yeah. I'm excited about trying to start the blog too. I think that's going to be fun.
Yeah. And Nick has been, they don't know about it. So you got to tell them about it. I ignored his text for like 4 days.
Right. Yeah, she did. That's okay.
I'll tell you what, I'm not going to lie. It's kind of like, okay, so I love having it's a love-hate relationship.
She's going to break it down, y'all.
I love having my Apple Watch, right? Because when I don't have hands and it's like, oh, I got a message or something. And I love wearing it for when I work out. But it's like, if I'm at the gym working out and this is the exact scenario that I'm talking about, and I think I've even done it to Kara, so I'm sorry, Kara, but I'll be at the gym working out and it's like, oh, I see a text message. So I flip my watch, shows me the message, and then it no longer prompts me on my phone. So in my head, while I receive that message, I'm like, okay, I'll read that text message later after my workout. Like, I got to focus,
Yeah, all you saw was like the first 3 words, yo, baby sis, ... And you're like, okay, cool, Nick texted me.
And I was like, okay, cool. And then I'm like, come back to that, Like, I didn't see the full message or anything. And then it's like, I got out of the gym. Then I'm like, oh my God, I'm starving. I'm so hungry. So then I run home and I'm getting food. And, then I start going on with other stuff and I don't respond to people sometimes. And I feel absolutely horrible. Because like I said, I think I did that to Kara.
We're all that way. We're all human.
So if what I should do is just set like a thing that when I'm at the gym, just automatically send an automatic reply, like at gym, talk to you later.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, that'd be great.
Got to figure that out.
People's feelings won't get hurt. Mine didn't get hurt. It's only 4 days. How many hours is that?
I know. What did you say? Nick's like, so I guess not. So this is what this was about. This whole story was that Nick texted me while I was at the gym, and I was like in the movie theater room too. So it's not like when you open your phone, it's like illuminating the rest of the room.
Yeah, it lights up the whole place. Yeah, love it.
Nick texted me about creating a blog and everything, and I didn't respond to it. So in his head, which is a normal response that you would, or a normal assumption, that I didn't want to do the blog. So he wrote back, he's like, oh, okay. He's like, no, it's fine. So no blog? That's okay. My feelings aren't hurt.
Yeah, something like that. That's exactly what I said.
A little bit.
That's basically what I said. Yeah. But no, I'm excited about that because I just like to, there's just so many things, like all of us are that way. We've got things on our mind and, we have different ways of kind of getting it out there. And I like to write and I still write. I write all the time, but I stopped doing this little blog that I was doing a long time ago. And I've dabbled in it a few times here and there. But I think it would be cool to just kind of do it as, instead of like, it's my blog, I think it would be nice to have like an extension of the Stretch It Out podcast, like blog form. I can get a little more in depth on some things. I think would be awesome. So, but the video thing's going to be the best. Video's going to be the best. Thing. Yeah, it's just next level. It's next level. When I listen to Keenan on the No Name RC podcast and JQ, like I love it. It's great. When I see him on video, it's just next level. I'm just like, oh yeah, this is freaking awesome. It's just, I'm connected. I'm more connected. I'm closer. And that's what we're all looking for. Right. So anyways, yeah. So cool. Sounds like things are going well then for you. Yeah. All things considered. Starfish. And I've made it clear to everybody that things are going well for me. Very blessed. But we know that things aren't going well for everybody all over the place. And so, I'm always praying for just really the world, for everybody. I mean, especially people right now dealing with Hurricane Laura that came through and still kind of doing some damage. I know people that, a good friend of mine, Scott, whom I also work with, I know he's in an area that got hit pretty bad. So everybody's out of power. He's out of power. There's probably a lot of people dealing with, much worse than that. So if anyone that's listening to this was really seriously impacted by that, just know that, my thoughts and prayers are with you and your families. And I know it's not all rainbows and unicorns everywhere right now. So, but thankfully there's people out there doing things to make the world a better place. And hopefully you're doing what you got to do to check that perspective as often as you can. I'm doing the best I can. I'm struggling. Yeah. I'm struggling, right? It's first world problems here, but I struggle with it and we all do, right? And, that's why we do what we're doing here, right? Sometimes we just got to hang out in Podcastland, or you got to read a book, or you got to listen to a radio show that you like, or something that, that helps you correct that perspective and keep you focused on the things that really matter. Forget about all the other crap. Yeah. But anything else, Audrey?
That's all I got for today.
That's all she got. Well,
all I got.
Well, look, I wanted to, thanks to all of our listeners. I want to shout out to my little sis, Alyssa, our little sis, Alyssa. Love you. She's, always giving us feedback. She's always, it's funny. What I love about both Alyssa and Andy, love you too. That's our cousin.
Oh yeah.
What I love about them is, and actually Keenan does the same thing. I think Sean's done the same thing. But I love the real-time interaction that we get when they text or send us a message and they're like, hey, I'm listening to this right now. And, LOL, you guys have me laughing about this, or, hey, I love that, because it pulls me back in and I'm sitting there with you, right? I'm in that moment. And it helps me sometimes when I get those messages. It's like almost sometimes it's like a slap in the face, because I'm like, dang, I am not living what I'm preaching, right? When you get a message from somebody like, yeah, great, that's a great message that really helped me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I needed to hear that, because I'm totally not following that, right? I'm totally, my lens needs to be cleaned. And sometimes that's all you need is just an angle change, so thank you to you, Alyssa and Andy and Dad. I think Dad listens.
I think Dad's just like a little,
he's a busy man.
Behind.
Yeah.
But he's there.
he's a busy man.
Talk about that on that episode. I'm like, oh wait, Dad's on episode like 19.
Right. So, but no, we just appreciate it because we like being able to hang out with you guys. You're all great people, and we love you guys, and we're going to keep this thing going. So this is a big milestone for us, episode 25.
It is.
It's kind of a big deal, right? Just a couple of sibs that started a podcast, and here we are, 25 episodes in, and some amazing, really amazing, incredible listeners. So just Hashtag blessed, y'all. That's what I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling blessed. So, and it's because of y'all. So thank you.
I want to
Audrey.
give a shout out too to my friend James. Him and I used to work together at Food for Less.
Dang, you're going way back.
Yeah, we're both very happy we don't work there. But he actually follows us on Instagram all the time, and anytime I post something regarding the podcast, he follows us everything. And I swear, he's probably one of the first ones to respond with like a high five, fire emoji, whatever. Like he's always pumped to hear about like the next episode.
Aw, James, it's so cool. You're the man, James.
Haven't talked to him in a long time. Like actually heard his voice since what? I was like 19, 18.
That's crazy.
He was a really cool person to work with.
That is so cool. That's so cool. Well, hey, you know what you made me think of is, again, thanks, James. You're the man. Appreciate it. I was watching Mark Santamaria. You know who Mark Santamaria is because I watch his YouTube channel. And I think I've made you watch some of his videos.
Probably.
He's a RC enthusiast, and he's got a YouTube channel that's grown significantly since I started watching it years ago. So great guy. And I was watching one of his live, YouTube. It was a YouTube live, I think it was. And I try to catch him whenever I can. On the weekends, he usually does them. And they're awesome. Just fun hanging out with him. And anyway, long story short, he mentioned my name on there because what was it? I think it's like you can donate like a couple bucks or whatever to these people when they're doing these streams. And he said something like, hey, for every, I forget what it was, $10 or something, I'll give somebody a shirt, not saying he would give it to who gave the money, but he would give somebody a shirt. So,
okay.
So I did that. I donated the money. It's the first time I had ever done it. I looked it up, and apparently I could have wrote something. I didn't know that, but what you're supposed to do is write something, and then you get your message kind of right. I didn't do that, so it was just, hey, Mark, bam, here's a few bucks, and that was it, right? And so so it just said that, and I did it because I thought that'd be great if he could get some of his MSM shirts, his Mark Santamaria shirts. They're really cool. He's got a really cool logo. And I'm like, man, that'd be great if he can hand some of those out to some of these people that are tuning in, because it helps the hobby, right? And I love the hobby, so it just made sense to me, right? So I had a couple bucks I could spare, and I donated that during that. All that to say, it was super cool because he sees that, and he's like, Nick Stretch, and immediately he's like, man, he says all these great things. Nick Stretch is a good guy, because I think he knows I've been following him for a long time, since he, way before he had all the success he's having on the channel now.
Right.
And it's much deserved, by the way. He's a good dude. But I think it was just so cool because he recognized right away Nick Stretch, and he goes, Nick Stretch has a podcast, and they talk about, and I'm like, what the heck? That's so cool that he's like, it was like, to say that it was flattering is an understatement. And I don't say that because like it went to my head, but it was just one of those things where, going back to your Starfish story, you know what I mean? Yeah. It probably didn't benefit the hundreds of people that were tuned in, but he made my day. And so I just wanted to say thank you to you, Mark Santamaria, the Mark Santamaria. You got to check out his YouTube channel because it's dope. I love it. I watch it constantly, a little too much. I have his whole intro down, right, to his videos. I can say it verbatim, which is probably scary that I shared that with you all. So I think that's a good time to end this thing. We're just under 40 minutes. But no, seriously, thanks, Mark. So yeah, episode 25, we made it, baby sis. And I guess the next one
is going to be 50.
Yeah.
We're halfway. Because I think we're going to make it to 50. I said that when we were like at episode like 15 or something like that.
Yeah. We're going to get there. We're going to do giveaways and all that fun stuff. It's going to be awesome. So can't wait. But thanks so much for everyone tuning in, listening. Thank you for the continued support. Just hope life is good where you're at. And if it's not, just know that we're praying for you. And we're sending you all of our well wishes and blessings, and things will get better.
Spread happiness and make somebody smile today, guys.
Thank you. Well said. Be kind.
Bye.
Peace.